You need glasses on.
Nah, because if I do that, I want to go to sleep.
Oh, fair.
But as soon as I put my blue light blockers on, 10 minutes later, I'm like literally almost fast asleep.
That's because you fall asleep in you wear them to bed.
Huh?
That's because you wear them to sleep.
Not anymore. Not anymore. I
Oh.
don't. I did for a while, but then I was like finding it annoying. But yeah, I now like take them off as I go to sleep. So yeah. But I did at one point. Yeah, I literally fall asleep with them on. It was fun.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wild. Anywho, welcome back to another episode. We just dashed you in there mid-conversation. But welcome back to another new and improved Mega Ball podcast. Team consistency is in full effect right now. We have not missed one yet, but we're only at number 2. So
2 weeks. 2 weeks in. Come on.
It's 2-week anniversary, boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're getting back on it. We are. So yeah. So we just had a general catch up, but not really much. I think has happened since the last pod.
No, not really. We want to actually start providing some value and some podcast topics rather than consistent catch ups because we've missed so many episodes. So no more catch ups for now, unless some like crazy things happen.
Something gnarly happens.
Yeah.
James gets a wife.
That deserves an episode on its own.
Yeah, I think that deserves a party. That deserves, I don't know, there's more chance of pigs flying, I think, at the moment.
Faith in you, James. No faith.
No, I don't need a wife to make me happy.
Speaking of the things that make us unhappy, well, I say that, but like for me personally, we're going to talk about alcohol this episode. So we're going to talk about how it affects your lifestyle, your work, nutrition, training, basically any kind of area it will interact with and have an effect more or less. Now I know all three of us have got like different drinking habits. Some of us don't even really drink at all, and then some of us drink a lot.
Yeah, I wonder who that cunt is.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah. So, I think it's so best thing to do is go one topic at a time and kind of go around, and then kind of give our opinions in it, and then we'll build up a good case and a good amount of information for these people to take away with them.
Yeah.
To start off with, though, let's go around the table and kind of like explain your like what you say your drinking habits are, if there are any at all. We'll start with Charlie. We'll save the best for last.
The most fun of it all. My drinking habits is literally zero. Literally plain blank zero. The last time I had a drink, I think I had like one at Christmas. The last time I was actually drunk was probably maybe like 2 years ago.
What you like when you're drunk?
I just don't like it.
Yeah.
That time was pretty heavy. I passed out. That was enough. After that, I was like, I'm scarred for life. But to be honest, I just don't really like drinking. I've never been a massive drinker. Like pre-COVID, I'd like drink, like when I go out and stuff. And then COVID came, didn't go out like clubbing or anything. Found what raving was. And then like I just not really a fan of drinking, to be honest. Like it never really sits well with me. Like I always end up feeling sick, and I'm not even like pissed or anything. It just never sits well with me, to be honest. So I just don't drink. I'll have one like an occasion. Huh?
Where's your go-to drink, Charlie?
Go-to drink, either a vodka lemonade, Ciroc, raspberry, banging, or a nice flavoured gin.
Oh, I'm a bit partial to a bit of gin.
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of gin.
Calories. Very good on the calories.
Both of you are pussy arse for drinking gin.
Mate, absolutely slaps. But I probably only have it like once a year.
Fair enough, then.
Yeah.
So we'll save James for last because I think he's got a little more to say about this week.
Yeah, go on, mate.
So, like, my drinking habits, I've gone progressively more of a pussy when it comes to drinking as I've gotten older. Between like 14 years old, I was like smashing booze. Like, I could outdrink like even myself now, like by long shot. Like, I could drink. But it was bad. And then I remember I had like my first ever like when I puked when I was like 15, and like it was like it was so bad. That's the only hangover I've ever had. I almost got like so fucked up that I now no longer can get hangovers. I never get a headache or I'm sick. I'm just like I wake up, I'm like I just feel tired because I haven't slept very well. So I guess it's sort of a blessing. And nowadays I don't like it has to be like special occasion for me to drink. Like I do like a pint with the boys, and then like I will have like a pint with the boys if like obviously I'm not like in season or well, basically just like if I'm having an evening off per se. So like I do like drinking, but I don't like drinking to get smashed.
Mm.
That's the occasion provides it, then I can drink. Like for Brian, me and James we got pretty licked at the start, didn't we, mate?
Yeah, we were.
We were flying.
That bottle of wine, mate, lethal.
Yeah, mate, exactly.
Your tongue. Woo.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
So yeah, so that's kind of and then, like this summer I actually have been drinking more than I normally would for whatever reason. Apparently I've just been loving the old booze, specifically a Corona white wine this summer that's been where it's at. So yeah, I would say like, but generally I don't drink that many times in the year. Like zero, or I could drink maybe 5 times, but it doesn't really happen that often. I'm sort of like Charlie. Sometimes I'll be like, it's like hit or miss. Sometimes I'll take a sip and I'll be like, okay, I'm cool. And all of a sudden I take a sip, I'm like, okay, that's not sip. Like that's just not sitting right at all.
Yeah, like like you said, I don't mind like having one here and there, but I don't like drink to get like absolutely pissed as fuck.
Mortal.
Yeah,
mortal.
Unlike someone down there, James.
And that leads us on to our victim.
Right, so leading that on to me. So I'll admit it myself, I've been a massive party boy throughout like majority of my youth. And that has been a big part of my personality anyway. And because I've been to university, and part of university, drinking, it's about 70% of it, isn't it, to be honest? Part of like going out, always getting invited to parties, prees, all that stuff, you always tend to have a drink. And now I've kind of like got older and a lot more mature, my values are kind of changing a lot, and I'm valuing productivity, and drinking does not go hand in hand with productivity at all. Simply, the amount of drink we were having at university, we weren't just having casual drinks. It was either getting out to get absolutely smashed or none at all. There's no in between. There's like we never used to do casual drinks at all. So since like 18, because of my birthday's in September, I've always been the guy that's already was like 18 first. So every single weekend it was someone's birthday. I was like, "You want to come out?" I was like, "Yeah, go on then." So yeah, I've been out on many nights out, and I've had some great memories from drinking, but I've also made some terrible decisions. And now, like, I really do value my productivity, so I'm just kind of like trying to ease out of it now, and just have a few more casual drinks. And when I do go out, I'm not going out to get smashed, because you just lose control. You say things that you wouldn't usually say, and it's just not productive for like business, your goals, and all that type of stuff. So yeah, that's basically me.
You say that, but after the summer you've just had.
Yeah, like even this summer, that's why I need a break. I've literally been out every weekend. I'll say it. I've literally been out most weekends.
Pretty much.
That's mad.
But like, I'm not going out to get smashed all the time. These weekends, I have limited the amount of drinks I've been having, so it's not as bad. But give it like 4 or 5 months ago, I was getting out getting smashed, and I was just not happy with how I was on the nights out. Just feeling terrible the next day because I would get awful hangovers, and then it really affects my training, my mood for the whole week, to be honest. So it has its pros and cons, but the cons are outweighing the pros at the moment.
Yeah, so basically general consensus is like there is obviously a negative effect as much as there is a positive. Like as much as like all of us have probably had at least one good night on the old booze. Like there you have to like weigh up the consequences and like the basic pros and cons.
What does that sound like?
I was gonna say take the red pill, Wednesday the blue pill, per se.
Yeah.
Right, so let's start with a topic. So let's start with nutrition. So I know for me personally, alcohol it kills my appetite the next day.
Yeah,
I would had 4 meals, come 10 o'clock, go to sleep. For me, like I get to like 10 o'clock and I probably end up missing realistically like 2 meals because I just get like that rave belly as soon as I know I'm about to go out. So as soon as I start drinking, like I'm not interested in food anymore. So I end up like killing my appetite because I skip 2 meals and I wake up the next day and I feel like shit because like I feel bad for missing my meals.
Yeah.
Like that's probably the biggest thing. Like, so I know like personally, like one of my tricks around that is making sure I do get like all my food or as like 90% of my food in, so that way I kind of don't have to worry about that being the next day feeling guilty. Especially when like someone like me, I know I've got to compete soon. Like every day counts. So like these days I'm missing, I need to make sure that like I'm only missing like 5 to 10%.
Yeah, 100%. Like in terms of nutrition as well, like majority of alcohol is empty calories, so it has no nutritional value. Or like say if you're trying to lose weight and you have like 10 beers, you're going to go well over your calorie target. And then say you're trying to gain weight and you have loads of vodka lemonades, usually the next day your appetite is ruined. So it's not very optimal at all. But if you do go out just for a few drinks, you still can make progress. Like don't be discarded just because what we're saying. It just, when you have these extremes, that's when it's just not optimal.
Yeah, it's not. This isn't just like a don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Not like that. You've just got to find the balance to like towards your goals. And like in terms of like the nutrition point, especially a big one for most people is like going for a kebab after their night out. Like as a really common thing. Like if you can like go out and have like a load of drinks, that's absolutely fine. But if you can go home and maybe have like I don't know, a piece of toast or something, a rice cake, I don't know, something cleaner. That's going to be a lot better in terms of like your goal than having like a dirty, greasy kebab that's going to make you feel good in the moment. But then in the morning, you're going to wake up feeling like shit because you've eaten shit, you know?
Yeah, usually like it's the next day, isn't it? Like not necessarily the night out, the consequences after that, how you're feeling, what you do, what you eat, etc.
Yeah, 100%. So that kind of obviously is your James cover. So empty calories, potential appetite loss, and obviously calorie like intake calorie taking is way obviously overboard. Another thing you have to also think about as well is like people know now that obviously beers does increase estrogen like over when you drink a lot of them. So if you're someone who likes to smash beers every week, you're going to be raising on that natural like estrogen level, which then will out of balance your testosterone, which means you can get stuff like gyno, bad skin, and also just getting quite fat as well. Like your general like body fat levels increase because estrogen needs fat cells to bind. So that's why you see like guys like who've got beer bellies. It's because like all the estrogen levels have like increased, which means they need fat to bind to it. And that's when they get these massive fucking pot bellies. Because you think most people now that you like do bodybuilding, when you do like someone's full day of eating, they don't really eat that much food. But like, how are you fat when you're not eating that much food? It's the fucking shit metabolism because you're not training, and then the fucking beer on top of it.
Yeah.
I apologize, but once I get into flow, I'm gonna flow. Anyone else got to add to that?
No.
I think that's, in terms of nutrition, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't really think there's really much more to say on that.
Yeah, to just add on some tips if you do want to stay on track and go out. As what Josh said earlier, if you're in a gaining phase, make sure you get majority of your meals in before. Main thing is get your protein target in, because with alcohol, you're not going to get any protein in. So simply really focus on that. And when you do come home from the night out, as many drinks as you have as many glasses of water, and this is really going to help you feel better the next day. And if you are hungry, have something that's not too dirty, like a kebab. Have either a meal that's already pre-made or something that's potentially low calorie, depending on your goal, whether that's gaining or in a fat loss phase.
Yeah, I think the main thing isn't like in terms of like staying on track with everything. It's not necessarily the night out itself; it's the day after. That's the thing that like kills your progress, or so to speak, or throws you off track because like you spend the whole day in bed not doing anything, eating shit, you know. Whereas if you like keep on top of it, have a load of water, like James said, like just before you go to bed, hopefully you'll wake up feeling a little bit better, and then you can just crack on as normal, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Just get back to it. Don't feel sorry for yourself in bed. If you went out, face the consequences, get up, get back to your usual routine, and then you're sweet.
Yeah. And then so that sort of ties on to then also the next point in terms of alcohol. We know like denatures protein, so it does like waste muscle, especially obviously if you're in a deficit as well, because you've obviously got no like calories almost to like protect it. So when you're drinking alcohol and you're trying to train, you have to be realistic. I saw Mike Thurston talking about this actually, like this morning.
Yeah, you video yesterday.
Yeah. He was saying about last year, like the scale of like the more you want to go out and the more you want to sesh, basically you have like to realize that the seesaw is going to tip, and the more the UFC party, the more your progress is going to be hindered to a complete stop, or slow down, or even complete stop. So you need to be considerate of that as well. Because like for example, after like New Year's Eve, like we were fucked, and we were like, don't train because it's just not worth it. Because you're basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna then break down tissue, and you're not gonna have the nutrition to like repair it. So like you're actually gonna be doing more harm than you are good because you have obviously the leftover toxins in your system.
Yeah, and to add to that as well, your sleep, you don't get any REM sleep when you're after a night of drinking, so the sleep is just not optimal and pretty shit, to be honest. That's why 9 times out of 10 you still feel tired the next day.
Yeah, that's all then obviously leads into the whole recovery aspect as well. If you haven't stepped enough before, obviously one is the actual recovery itself, but two, just your general energy, like the performance in the gym is extremely good. Like no one goes to the gym after a night out and starts getting their PRs. Like it just doesn't happen unless you're an absolute freak.
Yeah, there are some nutters that can function like going out all the time and lift, but they are very rare.
Yeah, genetic anomalies.
Yeah, literally.
So that sort of covers training. Is there anything else in training we can cover really?
No.
If you were gonna have like a scheduled night out, for example, like then maybe plan like a deload or devolume like afterwards, which is currently what I'm doing. Like after warehouse, we're doing a devolume now. It was needed anyway, but it just like fitted in well. That's another route you could go down.
Yeah.
So train on the day you go out, so that way next day if you take a rest day, it's not a big of a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just work around your rest days when you have a night out. Be smart about it.
Yeah. Because basically said if you implement all these things, if you're accurate with your scheduling and you're smart with your choices in terms of alcohol and then in terms of nutrition, basically you can still have fun and still live your life with minimal damage. But obviously there's still a point where there is no amount of how well you sleep, how well you eat, where if you are ingesting other alcohol, obviously like as we've said, it's going to tip the scale and it's going to be basically stopping you from making any progress whatsoever. So yeah, we've touched on training, we've touched on a bit of diet, we've touched on even hormones, we've touched on a bit of recovery. Anything else? Mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health's probably a good place like to join. Like, I'm lucky enough to know that I don't know anyone who I would say suffers from mental health due to alcohol, but I know that it's very massive studies into it. I think partially of it is like the whole thing to do with like escapism, like trying to escape your life by not being sober. Because when you're not sober, you're not fully in control, and there's only time you can like almost like relax, let loose. But obviously, the problem is when you're trying to chase that escape on a weekly or even worse, if you're on a daily basis, like you're fucking full drunk. Like there's no. At the end of the day, when you wake up the next day, the world's still here. Your problems are still there.
Yeah.
I mean, the best way to do it isn't by like drinking through it. Obviously, it's by finding a way around it, whether that means, you need therapists to like try and help you solve your problems, or you need like an assistant to try and like help you sort your work. Like, there's always going to be ways around it, but people need to like. I think people put too much reliance on substances and like just drink.
Yeah, I think that.
Day and age with how accessible like alcohol, basically drugs, like everything is so accessible in the world nowadays. Like dark web, Instagram. Like I get people on Instagram following me with like trying to sell me acid and stuff. Like.
Yeah.
Anything you want really is at the tip of your fingers now in this day and age, and like it's even easier to get alcohol now. It's like for fake IDs and like all sorts. So it's just like we unfortunately we don't really have much say in it, but I think it's just having that mental perseverance, isn't it, to make the right choices.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just live for the weekends as well, and obviously in our generation, like English people as well, British people, they love to have a drink, and that is a good thing. Like what people just do, say they're bored on a Friday, let's go get smashed because it's something to do. And 9 times out of 10, they've worked a full week and they may not enjoy their job, so they think let's let loose on the weekend, forget about that, do it Friday, Saturday, potentially even Sunday. Come around to Monday, they feel shit all week, and then do it all over again, rinse and repeat, because they don't just enjoy their current situation. And a few questions that people need to ask themselves. say if you're going to a club on a Friday, would you enjoy that place sober? If the answer to that is no, then why are you going?
Yeah, that's why I love rave so much, because I've done rave sober and I've had to fucking such sick time.
Exactly. Like raving sober is still sick.
Yeah.
Very different experience, but yeah, it's still fucking sick. Like, if the music's good enough and the vibe's good enough and the people you go with is good enough, I feel like you should be able to do it sober.
Yeah, 100%.
Versus you won't catch me in a fucking attic or a fucking prison, sober, drunk, unconscious. Like I stay away from those locations at all costs.
Yeah.
The only place you might find me is the pub, but like that's still very rare, and I would never do that unless it was like a group of us from like school and stuff who were like all back in town from uni. Like that's the only occasion that you'll ever catch me like in a specifically drinking destination.
Yeah, and I feel a lot of people nowadays they don't. They always give in to peer pressure and they don't have the confidence to say,
Massively, yeah.
I'm not going to drink tonight. And it was like, oh, you're boring. Go on, have one, have 5, have 10. And then next minute I've got a bag in. Like, that's how it goes. Because
Where'd that come from?
that's how it goes usually in the culture. People are so they can't stand up for themselves and they don't have can't realign themselves with their goals and think,
Cheap.
Yeah. Like, think your goal, obviously you want to compete, you're aligned with that and you can go out and be like, no, I'm not going to drink and not give in to peer pressure. But nowadays people are snowflakes and weak and they just give in.
Mate, I've skipped nights out.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Like, for my birthday weekend in Brighton last year, so we did a rave on the Friday night, and then on the Saturday night, they're like, oh, let's go out. And I was like, it was my birthday weekend, and let's go out. I was like, no, I'm just going to sit and chill here. Let's go home. And I felt great. Like, because I didn't want to go out, and two, I didn't give in, to what other people want to do. I just did what I want to do, which was basically just like chill.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm one of the only people I know who can say no to these things. Apart from, I reckon Charlie's going to say no. James isn't.
No,
James isn't. James doesn't know the words no.
Depends what it is. But I don't know, it's changing now, mate. I've just wasted too much money, and when you go to them too often, the novelty wears off. It's better going out less frequent, and then you appreciate it more.
Yeah, but after COVID, I went nuts, and I did so many raves.
Yeah,
I did fucking 4 raves in 5 weekends or something stupid like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're absolute nutter, mate.
At the end of it, I was like, okay, do you fucking break?
Yeah, it just kills you off.
And that's why, like, after the summer I've had, and I've still got 2 more raves left to go. I know after that I'll be like, okay, I can definitely take a break. Like, granted, I am taking a year's break, but I would like the majority of that. I think I'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because over winter, no one really goes out. When it gets to summer, and I see day festivals, and that's when
yeah,
sun
starts coming. But you'll be absolutely peeled, mate. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice fucking bang.
Nobody will want you to come out with us, so that he's absolutely peeled to the bone. He'll make it absolute shit.
Yeah, exactly. Josh, if you come out after your competition season, there's no way we're taking a photo together, mate.
Well, that's what I did with Cam last year, and I was absolutely mogging him all the end of summer. Look at these. I'll show you some pictures.
Yeah, that makes
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I fucking felt for him.
Because return was literally the day after, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you didn't take your show for return, lad.
No, I didn't.
I had to jump you into it at, like fucking warehouse project. That was funny. Where is it? Fucking Chris.
Yeah, mate.
Go. I'm absolutely destroying Cam.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah. That's you're horrible, mate.
What friend?
That's why I'm taking a picture. I think there's another one as well from Weekend in the Woods, which is I'm absolutely mogging him.
You look double the size of him, triple. That's Pete.
Hey, look at the lat width on that boy. It's as big as his pecs.
You've done him dirty, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few more. There's anyone else there next to Mo? That's the only person who made me look small.
Yeah.
But that's because he's a large man.
Indeed, yeah.
Oh, there's also another. Actually, no, I can't show that one. My eyes are way too big for that one.
Yeah. Just from drinking that one, isn't it?
Yeah, no. See, this is why I avoid drinking. But no. Yeah, I think that's a good rounded off pod. We've covered a good few.
Yeah. Should we finish off some tips, like 5 tips to if you want to go out, how to stay on track?
But it doesn't. It's not giving me a number of how many. Let's just
Let's just fire out.
Avoid. I would say like try and stick to one alcohol, like to like one spirit of choice.
Yeah.
Digestion still like you have to take into account digestion that even includes liquids. So if you're mixing different liquids, one of the reasons why you bury as well, I believe, is because it's just like when you're eating lots of different foods, like your body can only process so many things at once. Especially like with some like spirits being stronger than others, it might take, or they've got artificial sweeteners in them, and then obviously like just fucking like sours and stuff, and like it just
They literally rot your teeth. Those things like sours, VKs, WKDs. VKs. Have you had a VK, mate?
Mate, of course I had a VK. Back in the day when I was 18, that was the first drink I had.
Mate, when
I was 14 to 18.
No, as in when I went out. As in when I went out to like the club.
Yeah.
Because that was like the drink to have in the club.
It was literally at uni. So we used to get battered. We used to get battered at prees, and then you just drink VKs throughout the night just to keep you at that level. Because they're like juice, and they're like it was $2.50 in the student union.
Yeah. You can get like 2 for like £5 and 2 for £4 and stuff like that.
But what's grim? You just see people with like yellow or red tongues where they've just been having VKs all night. Worse when you see a girl with a yellow tongue, you're just like, ugh.
Bring back good old days, eh, James?
Yeah, you just give her a kiss, mate. Or a red. Oh. Anyway,
James will discriminate tongue colours.
Back to the tips, anyway. So the one that I said earlier, when you do get back from a night out drinking, have as many waters as of many drinks you've had, because that is a top tip, and have some kind of like meal as well. It will just definitely help you the next day feeling better. Something
dry and like absorbing, like.
Yeah.
I'd say take a rest day if you're training. If you're into that training side, take a rest day the following day. Just get everything back on track in terms of meals, and sleep and things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you could take it a step further. Like if you know you're going to be feeling like shit the next day, load up on micronutrients, load up veg. I know personally, if I've had like a rough, like if I've had a heavy night, I know like come home, I'm just like I just want like veg and like rice.
Oh, fruit, mate. Fruit's the thing for me.
Really?
Yeah, like get me some. Like after warehouse, we literally smashed 2 fruit pots easily.
Yeah.
Get me some of them.
Need some grapes.
Micronutrients.
Oh, James, remember when I got really fucking ill after Oxford?
Yeah.
Literally, when I came, I was literally living off fucking asparagus, broccoli, and like fucking corn.
Those Oxford, they were terrible. They were messy.
We won't talk about that now again, shall we?
That's another episode, that is.
Yeah, micronutrients. Get it in on the day and post to make sure that your body has the ability to recover fastest.
Yeah, also the next day, just get back to your normal routine. Don't just sit in bed and watch TikToks all day. Don't do that. It's the worst thing to do. And just feel sorry for yourself. Just get up, get out, go on a walk. Walks always help.
Wear fresh air.
Yeah.
Yes, big one.
Yeah. And if you ever want to get rid of that dry mouth, have some ice lollies ready for the next day. A box of Twisters, that is what I used to have at uni, and it gets rid of the dry mouth.
Oi, guess what I saw?
What?
Grenade ice cream bar. Like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I've seen them.
120 calories as well each one.
That's it. What flavour are they?
I think it was like cookies and cream.
Oh, that sounds banging.
Yeah, mate. That'd be so blessed for like to give if you've got like a client doing like a mini cut or like a cut that's not that serious, like not a prep. That's a great little like treat to throw in there.
Yeah, mate. Ice lollies are actually great if you're on prep. You just literally have a Twister, like 90 calories.
Yeah, but I think it's literally like a protein ice cream, so I can see that being pretty nice to be honest.
I bet they're spenny.
Oh fucking yeah, definitely are. It'll be like £10 for 5, mate.
Yeah, probably.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, that's still pretty sick though.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're approaching the 30 We're pretty much at the 30-minute mark. So I hope you guys have enjoyed another consistent podcast from
Check us out. We ain't stopping now. We're on a roll.
Sure.
the momentum has started. So yeah, right. I hope you guys have enjoyed. We have been your hosts, the Mega Cunts of the Morph. And we shall speak to you guys next time.
Let us know what you think of this episode as well. Your thoughts on drinking.
And then
Or negative.
let us know if there's anything else you want us to discuss.
Yeah.
And until then, we'll catch you guys next time. Bless.
In a bit, people.